Hey everyone, it's Coach Patrick. Time for another live episode. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about holiday nutrition. Now, I've been at this endurance game for 25 years now, quarter century time. And I got to tell you, I've never really nailed a holiday. Maybe, well, no, actually, not even that one. So there you go. There you have it. That's the end of the episode. Cut, roll, wrap it up. No way we're doomed. You're not doomed. It's okay. So the holiday season brings with it plenty of opportunities to reflect, to reconnect with people you haven't connected in a while, whether you go home, see your friends, go home, see family, stay where you are, get together with new people, or just get a chance to break out of the normal cycle. There's a lot of positive things that come with what a holiday season means. But as an endurance athlete, we have challenges. In our last episode, I spoke to you about how do we manage the logistical challenges of staying fit, staying active with the different types of constraints you may have when you're on the road or just with your sort of internal energy meter, right? Like where you're at. So this time around, I want to talk to you a little bit about nutrition because this is a battle as well. Endurance athletes have this interesting relationship with calories, and it's one that brings a lot of challenges to these holiday seasons. One of our great teammates, Sheila Laird, who you should look up for sure, Leard, lives out on the left coast, west coast, best coast, talks a lot about disordered eating, and disordered eating is very prevalent in endurance sports. There's a lot of times when we're training, for example, that we want to eat lots of calories. We need glucose, we need sugar, we need beverages. It's there's just calories in there. We're just burning to, do what we want to do when we're working out, right? So we need the calories to work out. On the flip side, there's that same mindset when we're not working out isn't great. Like if we eat like we're working out when we're not working out, then we end up in a space where we're actually putting on weight. And there's a place, a sweet spot, wherein you can be strong and healthy and eat well and be okay and be fine, this sort of equilibrium. But it's really hard to get to. And a large part of that equilibrium is usually achieved mentally because physiologically, we're never happy with where we are. Anytime you stop and take a picture and say, I made it, 5 seconds later, you're not the same as you were when you took the picture. So how do we reconcile that differential between physical reality and our mental perception of ourselves with the challenges that come with a holiday? And so we really have to come to terms with the fact that a lot of our success with calories and nutrition revolves around environment, right? Our environmental choices. So we get to curate where we are at home and make sure that you're in a place where you don't have bad food or you don't have bad food in the places where you are. Either or is fine. That you make healthy food choices and you back those up by healthy food shopping and time to meal prep, etc. There's a lot of things that go into making anyone, particularly an athlete who's fairly picky but has high caloric demands, healthy when they're just really being their normal selves. And it's a delicate balance, and not all of us are successful at it, myself included. So we have to understand that there's periods in your year, say in the race prep, those last 12 weeks, famous inside Endurance Nation for the push towards your race, that you may be stricter than normal in terms of what you're eating so that you can stay on track, not put on weight, be good. At the same time, we recognize that when we're not training very much, then we also have to be careful with what we're putting inside of our bodies, right? So even though we're eating clean when we're training a lot, but we're eating a lot because we want to be fueled and ready, we also don't want to eat too much in the times when we're not training so much because we're not really burning all those calories. And it's a tough place to be because in both places you're applying rigor. Like no matter where you are, you're like more rigor, less calories burned, more rigor, more calories burned, just as much rigor. Like, hey coach, where's the balance? You said something about balance. This doesn't sound like balance. This sounds broken. And I hear you. So here's the deal. I've got a couple of key things I want you to think about for the holidays that will help you out, okay? Number one, I want to say, just like we say pain is temporary, I'll tell you this, holidays are temporary. Whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you may celebrate, these are just brief periods in time. And even though now it feels like you'll never escape this land of sugar cookies and endless garbage food, in reality, when we zoom out across your year, it was 5 days at your in-laws, but there's 365 days in a year, so plenty of other time in your year where you can be really locked in. So number one, don't put a ton of pressure on yourself. You're not in a bodybuilding competition. Life is okay. There's yummy food. You don't normally have sugar cookies laying around. Maybe it takes you back to your childhood. Woo-hoo. Maybe there's a cake or a pie or a really good cut of roast or stuffing that you would like to have because it's just yummy and your mom made it and now's the time. And come on, it's the holidays, right? It's just really low key. So if you're in a place where you're satisfied enough with where you are as a human and you're okay letting your guard down a bit, I'm here to tell you the holidays are temporary It'll be okay. We talk about them all year long and how crazy Aunt Edna was and all the things that happened. But at the end of the day, it's just a couple days. So really, I would encourage you, if at all possible, to dial things back and say, you know what, for a couple days, I'm just going to be a normal human and it's okay. I'll be a civilian. I'm not going to be in trouble. I'll get back to it. Maybe I'll be a pound or two heavier, but so be it. That's it. It was worth it. Not ruining vacation, not making my in-laws buy special food for myself, not preparing blended meals instead of my regular scheduled dinners. All of that's fine if you have like a severe dietary imbalance or an allergy to the food being prepared. But if that's just you because you're worried about your body composition and you are not a movie star or an elite athlete and your life or job depends on those abs that you're curating, you need to chill out. Just going to put it out there. So how do we head into the holiday season and stay on track? So these are my 3 tips for you to really kind of keep you rolling. Number 1, start smart. So make sure you have a good breakfast. And this is okay. I do this all the time. I bring like a protein mix with me. It's a shakeable protein mix, so I don't need a blender to wake everybody up. But I make sure that every morning I have a good dose of protein, anywhere between 15 and 30 grams of protein, so 1 or 2 servings. I can mix it with water or milk, whatever it is that I want. Sometimes I have a banana there as well. But I just know every day I'm starting off with just good protein in my body. Protein is fairly scarce when you're traveling, and most of the holidays aren't around protein. I mean, maybe they are in some countries, but where I'm from, most of it involves around carbohydrates. And so those are abundant, like whether we're snacking before we eat or we're snacking after we just ate when we should be deserting, but we're actually still snacking because the real meal, that was the fake meal, is coming later. And it just seems to be this sort of orgy of calories and food. I know if I start right, I'm in a good place. And it's easier if I just start right every day. So I do it in the morning and I make sure I'm good and I'm all set. And in fact, I try and back that start smart up by also getting my exercise done in the morning too. In general, most people tend to sleep in relative to endurance athletes. So the morning is the time, right? If you can get outside for a walk or a run, if you can go to the gym, if the gyms are open wherever you are in the morning, great. If you've got some kind of setup where you can do your workout and not bother anyone, awesome. This way, you're done by like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever you need to. You can still have your full day, but you had great protein in the morning, a good start nutritionally, and you got your workout done. The rest of the day, we're good. Like you did all the things you need to do, and now you can just focus on sort of the aspects of being smart with your nutritional choices. If you don't start strong like that from a nutritional perspective and a fitness perspective, then things get tougher because all of a sudden the workouts start falling later in the day. You've also trying to make food choices, and you're trying to ratchet up and down the food choices based off of this judgment factor. Whereas if you start smart, you're good. So when you go away this holiday season, just plan those breakfast and prepare for it. I take my powder in a bag, I put it in my backpack, no one knows it's there, it's all good, all set, right? So just make sure you're all set in that regard. Also pack all the equipment you need to do that early morning training, okay? The second thing that I recommend you do in the holiday season is to finish strong. And I don't mean like close out your day with a workout when everyone's watching Christmas Vacation or whatever, holiday traditions you may have inside your house. I'm not suggesting that everyone else is off, going to, view the lights or spend some time together, go for a nice walk, that you need to go do P90X or something like that. What I am saying is that the end of the day is where weakness strikes. So you have food all day, and there's this piece of pie, you had a piece, you're like, that's great, should I have 2? You're inside your brain, you're like, probably not. And also, it's not just should I or should I not have this extra pie, but there's also all these other people here, and me having like multiple pieces of pie when there's other people who may want pie, maybe not so great. But later in the day, the pie is sitting in the fridge helpless, and everyone else is off in another room playing a board game or doing something, and you're like, this pie is mine, no one will know, I'm a pie assassin, I'm coming in to take it, I'll make a small enough cut that no one will know that I took the pie, right? Or maybe you're like, forget that, I'm going to eat it with a fork. I'm going to let everyone know that I murdered this pie and it's mine just by displaying this brute attack on this poor baked good. Whatever your strategy may be, these things happen later at night. And so you need to finish strong. So just like starting smart at the finish strong at the end of the day is set yourself up for success by putting all of those baked goods away. So in my house, I can't necessarily get rid of all the yummy food. My family likes the yummy food. That's fine by me. That's their choice. So I will often take that yummy food when it's particularly tempting for me, and I just put it away. Halloween candy goes in the pantry. Baked cookies that someone just made, there you go. If they're warm, we can eat them. Otherwise, we put them away. Like we just don't leave them laying around all the time because you just want to eat them. And if I don't see them, I'm not thinking about them and I'll be fine. I'd rather leave out fruit, vegetables, water, healthy beverages, whatever that may be. But I take away the temptation. So do the same thing when you're traveling. Just put those bad things away. Or if that's not possible, then remove yourself from where all the bad things are. For me, I usually do my work in the kitchen when everyone else has left the kitchen late at night at my in-laws. Well, the kitchen is where they keep all the food. Not so good. So I have to relocate to a different area or put all the food away. So finish strong by saying, I'm going to eliminate all the things that tempt me and I want to be healthy. And for generally speaking, that's generally 8 p.m. on for me. I'm an early to bed kind of person, but just making sure that I don't make bad choices after 8 p.m., I'm pretty good in that regard. So just being strong there. So I'm not saying be strong all day. That's practically impossible and also just makes you really grumpy. But instead, be strong when it matters most, which is when you're normally the weakest, which is to say, sort that out so that you're not making those bad choices. Hey, you might not, might have bat 1,000 on this one out of 4 nights away. Maybe 3 of them are good, 1's bad. That's better than having 4 bad nights, right? So we just don't normalize that type of binging or sort of unilateral food selection or assassination, as I was describing earlier, by just making sure you make healthy choices, set yourself up for success. Okay. Now, in between those two things, we want to stay active, and this is the hardest part for a lot of people, but it's also important. Even though your metabolism might not be raging at the same level as it is when you're doing your 3 workouts in the morning, plus like squat thrusting with your baby at Pilates, and like carrying the water bottle around at work, like Thor. I get it. You've got all these active points in your day. That's awesome. But when we're on vacation, different set of rules apply. Maybe your relatives aren't that active, or the weather's not conducive to it, or there's just other things happening that you have to sort of stay inside, be quiet, whatever it is. I get it. So in these environments, we just want to find some way to stay active. So in an ideal sense, you're getting about an hour of some kind of walking. If you've got a step threshold, for me, I've got about 10,000 steps a day. That's just being on my feet all day doing stuff, but also a good hour worth of walking as well. Sometimes even a short run can get me there. Whatever that threshold is for activity of you, we want to do it. And it can be as little as a brisk walk, but it's something that we do want to commit ourselves to. Just challenging your metabolism throughout the day. If you can't get it in the morning, it does make a difference. And this doesn't have to be crazy. You can help in the kitchen. Just be walking around doing that stuff. What we want to avoid is like 3 hours sitting on a sofa with a bag of chips and some guacamole and not moving for 3 hours just because no one else is moving for 3 hours. Well, I'm not saying don't sit down and don't eat chips and don't eat guac, but I'm saying maybe do it for an hour and then go do something, or maybe in between breaks you go do something, or maybe at halftime you go do something, but we're not just sitting there the whole time, right? Even sports events can be pretty boring. Plus all those advertising, it's not good for you, right? Anyway, so those are my 3 points for you. So start smart. And that means nutritionally and from an activity perspective, finish strong by removing those temptations or removing yourself from the place of temptation. And then finally, stay active. Do whatever you can to just kind of keep things rolling throughout the day. It does help make a difference for you metabolically. You'll be surprised that if you're able to stay strong and moving throughout the course of your travel, you'll actually do really well for yourself. In some cases, many people end up spending more time moving when they're away than they're at home, because home is that comfortable environment, and you really kind of keep yourself busy. One of the top secret ways that I stay active when I'm on the road is I help people wherever I'm at doing stuff. My in-laws need some tree branches picked up, or they need the lawn taken care of. They got to hang up drapes, or they're remodeling something, or my mom is the same way. So, hey, I'm helping you. Help me help you, which actually helps me stay active. Worst case scenario, I've got to finagle half an hour to myself, but I can be pretty convincing, but also can get my stuff done in half an hour if the SHIT hits the fan. And that's not a Christmas dish around here, but it does happen on the holidays. Real things do happen. So we do try to kind of strike that balance. So don't beat yourself up nutritionally about the holidays. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You do not know when you will have another holiday with these people in this scenario again. And it's an opportunity for you to kind of reflect on that. Also, just respect what you built outside of this space, because you built a great level of fitness and attention to detail and rigor that's going to make you successful across the course of a year. But we don't want to waste all that energy now. Like, why are we going to fight Aunt Edna about whether or not you're going to have some of her special almond pie, when really we need to use all that energy like later, like 6 weeks out from your race, when your friends want to go on like a drinking binge or for the weekend, and you're like, I got this other workout I need to do. Like, that's when you need willpower. And Edna just wants you to have a piece. Just have a piece. Like, you don't need the whole thing. Just have a little piece of it. It's going to be fine. All right. All right. On behalf of all pies stored in the fridge late at night, please be gentle upon them. And I look forward to talking to you in our next episode. Have a great holiday season. Travel safe. Be smart. Stay active. Be kind. And I'll see you on the other side.